Beauty 24 karat gold peel off mask on our face, and we put it on with our Ioni silicone mask application brush, which is extraordinary for, well, it was 99 cents at the 99-cent store, but you can see they changed the price to $1.29. Inflation is here. Wow. But the packaging on this mask is not that great, so it oozed out the top a little and got on my hand. So maybe I'll have the benefits to my hand, and also I got it on my pants. But we should be probably 10 more minutes and we should be able to peel this bad boy off. It also says that after you peel it off, you can rinse off any residue. So it's Korean beauty, right? Korean beauty has been in the forefront of trend and technology in Asia. Sorry, www.beautyinfluencebrands.com. I'm loving it. You know, these little plastic tubes, just like with toothpaste, can fail you if they get abused. But, you know, I'm not mad. It didn't stop the show. And we're just going to let this dry down and peel off. But I thought I would show you, you know, that Self-Care Sunday does not need to be expensive. It says, this package for the brush says, say goodbye to messy hands, easily apply masks evenly, which is a great innovation for a cheap price. It definitely worked. You can see the mask all over the brush. And you can see that face and neck have been covered, leaving the lips and the eye areas uncovered. It says avoid. I kind of stopped working on one show, and then I went on to a different show where I have to say the COVID protocols were very different. And I was quite surprised. But, you know, most of all, I'm surprised at my own eagerness to be mask free because, you know, when temperatures are over 75, a mask does nothing but make you sweat and sweat off your makeup. Now, knowing that, I've definitely been getting in on the, whether you call it setting spray or finishing spray. This is a Tarte Rainforest of the Sea 4-in-1 setting mist. But on the back, it, you know, maybe treat that as a reward. The only thing is I like to, if I'm gonna drive up into the valley, I'd like to kind of take advantage of the carbon footprint I've made by doing errands in the area, right? Part of it is that, right, having spent the very expensive gas. I know it's not as expensive as gas is in Europe, but you know, I want to take advantage of being in that area, but then at the same time, it's probably important for me to get back home and do other things. I do have to work Tuesday and Wednesday on the first show. And there's been all kinds of drama because, you know, surprisingly, we've all been working together, I guess, like 9 months, right? Am I right? From July until April, right? Nearly May, right? Then we'll be off. All of us will be off from that show. May, June, July. The show may come back in July again, but then there's a shimmer and maybe as body paint. I want to show you some stuff I bought, but I don't want to touch the hats because I have glop on my hands. But I think I may have mentioned that I got these Real Techniques Eye Shade and Blend dual-ended shadow brushes, right? From our friends at Real Techniques. I haven't gotten into these yet, but it seems like you've got the middle brush to do your eyeshadow as liner, and then you have a fluffy brush and a less dense, smaller fluffy brush so that you can blend, layer, and define. So, you know, it seems like the biggest brush might be for blending edges. Am I wrong? And that the smaller one would be for laying down your crease shade and maybe putting a outer V color over it. So we might use these today. I got a bunch of makeup at Daiso because I was working in the valley at a college on Saturday as a professor, and I, you know, again, because I was in the area, I tried to circle around and do a few errands. It was so hot, I was so tired. I went to bed so early as usual, but I think I had already gotten this loose powder, which is very cute because when you take it out of the package, let's do it, it actually has its own little dispenser that shuts very well, so it's not going to spill all over your bag as long as you close it properly, right? And then it has its own little powder puff, because there's a lot of people saying like you shouldn't go crazy with powder, right? You should use enough powder and press it in with like a velour puff, which is what this particular package contains. I didn't open the powder itself yet, but it has this cute little double-sided puff in perfect condition, and then once you peel the sticker off of the product, it seems like a neutral or maybe a pink color that might work for me in a pinch, right? Powders don't have to be perfect. I got hold of a bunch of foundations that my neighbor, who is a makeup artist, was getting rid of. So you know how I like to be penny wise, right? These are pump foundations that either for whatever reason, for decluttering reasons or whatever, she was getting rid of, and it's definitely brands I've long wanted to try. Fenty, YSL, some Makeup Forever, some NARS, different things that, I am always surprised when a product like this from Maybelline works perfectly and it does what it says. This product says primer, powder, concealer, and BB cream, and it really does give you a powder-like finish that's pretty and doesn't dry and crack and make you look like you just dug yourself out of your own grave. So we'll see what we're feeling to try. I really do want to try Fenty though, because I've not wanted to spend that kind of money on makeup, but maybe today's the day for us to get our little beak wet. But I got a bunch of rouges, liquid rouge pen in the color, I guess it's like a pink color, and then pink, beige, and red, right? We'll see what this does on our complexion. And then we got a liquid eyeliner in brown, and then a gel eyeliner, I think this is dark brown, and we may have, oh yeah, we do. We may have a slightly lighter brown, and again, eyeliner, not a brow product. And then we also got this stick cheek color in pink, in beige pink. The other one was pink beige, this one's beige pink. So, Daiso is a Japanese company. I feel like they understand yellow undertones like my own. I can feel this mask drying. But what else did I get hold of? I didn't get hold of this but this is Dr. Pawpaw Shimmer Balm, and I had put this on before putting my mask on just to give my lips a little chance at survival here in the desert. We are in a constant struggle against dryness. And this does have very tiny flecks of shimmer in it. So, depending on what you are portraying on camera, this is definitely not a lip product for when you're being a cop. It's definitely for when you're at home on Sunday, or, out getting a chagachino, which is a mushroom coffee, with whatever sort of milk you like. But yeah, I think we should do some sort of eyeshadow look today, but looky here. Oh my goodness. And I did try to sanitize these because, I'm not so bawling that I want to just see perfectly good products thrown away, or, spend a ton of money. These are the Pro Filter Soft Matte Long Wear Foundations. One is $120 and one is $240. I suppose $240 is going to be closer to the mark, but let's see if we can try those and hopefully not get in any kind of trouble for doing it. I do love this product, so I'm very happy to have recovered it. What else can I tell you? Are my hands dry enough to show you the cool little bucket hats that I got? I'm not a big bucket hat person, only because I tend to wear my hair on top of my head for comfort, definitely during the summer, etc. But I could not resist these. at our local dollar store, $2.50. Bucket hat, one size fits most. One in pink, one in rain slicker yellow. So cute. I think for the sun, the only issue with hats that cover your head as a long-haired person and also as someone who, you know, if you're dealing with heat, a hat that's covered on top is going to trap heat close to your head. It's going to make you hotter. I like a visor. I found a visor that was perfect. I cracked it in half. I have visors that pull on. I have visors that clip on. I prefer a clip-on visor that doesn't kind of disrupt the hairstyle, especially if I'm a cop. I'll even wrap my hair in a do-rag, as you know, and kind of have that style protected. And when I'm not able to do that, there was one final day on that particular show where I was playing a flapper where I had to have my 1930s wig on. And I don't know if you're going to see a picture of that on my Instagram, which is House of Tanya, but I'll try to put that up. You know, it just, try as you will to try to, you know, make your hairstyle versatile, right? To go under the wig and then take the wig off. But it was so hot. I'm just started picking this mask off my hand. It seems to be doing a good job of masking and peeling off. You know, and they say you can peel off or remove any extra by rinsing with water. But what did I want to say? Yeah, my hair was like kind of fuzzy from the wig and from the heat. I'm roaming around, and then I did the best I could to kind of like pull it and put it in place, and it just didn't look as pristine. And I know people who are not people of color look at me crazy, and there's tourists that go by on the lot that see me outside in my do-rag, and I think I look kind of cool. I know that sounds insane, but you know, I am someone who is of African descent, and I feel comfortable wearing it. And I was surprised even when I started wearing scarves and do-rags and stuff to try to keep my hair in order, especially under a hat when I was working in the cold desert. And it just gives you the most fabulous, also as a curly haired person, right? I'm not going to straighten my hair with heat to put it in a bun, right? I can wet it, kind of stretch it into shape, put product into it, alcohol free if you can. I've talked about before these very powerful men's products that don't have alcohol in them and therefore don't damage your hair. It's so crazy that men's products like Old Spice, like there's some Pantene hairsprays that don't have alcohol, that are not male oriented, but the alcohol free products are going to preserve your hair. Why are they for men, whereas there's so many mousses and hairsprays and different preparations, heat protectants and different things that have alcohol in them, and that in tandem with heat, with mechanical damage, constantly like, you know, tugging and pulling and putting metal clips in your hair is going to damage your hair and put you in a place of needing more product in order to, you know, perfect your look. In any case, hair was fuzzy without the do-rag, and I regretted that. It wasn't my best looking day, you know. It was a struggle to go from one kind of performance to the next, but I did it, but the hair was just not on point the way I would prefer it to be. You know, today, just to kind of give your hair a break. When you put your hair up, don't make it tight, make it loose. Think about the tension on your hair when you're kind of making a ponytail wet and pulling it into a bun. I'm going to be gentler than any hair team person will in making my bun, because I'm not going to just stretch it. I'll make it tidy, and then I'll tie it down and let the sun and the wind dry it. So by the time I take that do-rag off, and everyone's been looking at me like I'm crazy, the reveal is that perfect bun, smooth, glossy, right? Undamaged hair, no heat damage. You can move super quick. You will have to do it before you leave your house as a curly haired person, but so worth it. And we're gonna wrap the season on that on Wednesday. But let me tell you, these people have been trying to get extra dramatic at work, you know, making up these accusations of, you know, and this has been since the beginning of my tenure on that show. I heard you were talking about me. It's like, why would I talk about you? Your friends know more about you than I do. But it's not even real. It's just, you know, if you've been around narcissists, if you've been around people who want to, you know, stir up drama, like they try to say things to trigger you, right? And you can't let that happen ever. And they also try to play the victim, like, oh, they're suffering so badly. So, you know, the conversation that I was forced to have in public with certain people around me filming the conversation, if you can imagine, it's so bananas. You know, I brought up again how people had put a dead rat on my car, and someone had been, you know, pouring coffee on my windshield, you know, for weeks and weeks, and how ironic that this person was coming to me with these fraudulent claims that, you know, I'm sure she cooked up with her friends to try to, you know, do something. It's so absurd. But, you know, you can't take the bait. You have to be grateful for the work, and you have to know that, you know, people are maybe targeting you and targeting other people, and certainly they are, and certainly they have, sometimes successfully. They wouldn't do it if A, they weren't concerned about your comparative performances, right? Just as workers and as actors, but also if they weren't trying to get a job slot for their friend, or just simply to control who works there and who kind of knows, you know, the tricks that they've been up to. This is the reality of work. Certainly, you know, having worked at large corporations and with, you know, a lot of women and people in the LGBTQIA community, there's always some phenomena that is not about the work. There's always some interpersonal dynamics that, you know, people often try to use for their own advantage. And it's not to take it personally, right? As I've said to everyone at that particular job, I'm like, drink it in. These are the final moments. We may, in fact, never be on that show again. And in fact, we may never see each other again for several years. So that could be perceived as a good thing or a bad thing. In any case, I hope my lighting is working out okay. I hope my focus is working out okay. I wonder if I need to make the chair higher. But I also, at the 99-cent store, saw something exciting while I was in line. This dual-ended eyeliner pencil. One end is black, one end is white. I've been seeing people like Rich Lux look so interesting with white eyeliner in their waterline. And when I do it, I think it looks nuts, but maybe it looks less nuts if you're not super zoomed in. I thought I might need the purple scissors, but I see it's only a little piece of tape on the edge. So the claims are to create major eye looks with just one pencil. This ultra soft, stunningly smooth formula from our friends at Smoke and Mirrors, which I think is a brilliant name for a cosmetic line, especially one as affordable as this one. Still only 99 cents, but it says this ultra soft, stunningly smooth formula glides on just like a fluid, depositing extreme pigment in just one sweep, even on the waterline. That's quite a promise. Ultra blendable for a stunning smoky eye. It's easily, it's easily to smudge with your fingers or a brush. Directions: draw a line from the inner corner to the outer corner of the eye. For a doe-eyed effect, raise the line toward the exterior of the eye. Has mineral oil, ethyl hexyl palmitate, sericin, microcrystalline wax, beeswax, hydrogenated polyisobutene, phenooxyethanol, BHT. May contain titanium dioxide, iron oxide black, D and C black number 2. Keep away from small children. Manufactured Pearl World, New York, New York. It has a cancer and reproductive harm warning, P65 warnings, California.gov. There's all kinds of cancer warnings on products here in this state, which I've never seen before, just to let you know there's plastics and things that might be risky. So, you know, when you're going to play with a product like this, and even products that don't have warnings on them, it just re-emphasizes to you how important it is. You can play with makeup, you can wear it, but be sure to wash it off at night. So, got the package off, throw that on the floor. We have the white end, obviously, and the black end. We'll see what we can do with this. You know, just waiting for the last few bits of this mask to dry down. Hopefully we get a satisfying peel. I don't think it's going to be as extreme as those peels that, what is the ones that pull whatever material out of your nose? They say that those things can be very damaging to your skin, you know. I think we applied it very thickly here on our forehead, and maybe that's why it's not drying down so great, but it is peeling off pretty good. Hopefully it doesn't take my hair with it. But yeah, you know, Sunday fun day. It's nice to be home. It certainly has been hot out in the streets, but you know, it's important to see people, talk shop, see what kind of things are going on in the other parts of the business and of the world. It's nice to be fondly remembered by, you know, when you work not with people for a while, you kind of tend to think, oh, they forgot about me or whatever. And there's certainly been some odd drama with some people that I worked with on a different, allegedly, you know, trying to, is the word grooming? Younger people on set, not underage people, but younger people. And that certainly is, you know, you kind of have to be a little suspicious of anyone who's trying to have, especially personal relationships with much younger people. It's not as, oh, age ain't nothing but a number. It can often be because it's easier to seem impressive to someone younger. Ooh, look, that feels pretty satisfying. Is the mask pulling out impurities? I don't know, but look at that. Exciting. I'm using actually some of the packaging from that Daiso powder to kind of put the peeled off mask into. And then this brush is cool because you can actually use it to kind of take some of it off, or to see if it's kind of physically demanding than on the other show, which is more, I think, relationship-y. And both shows are cool. You know, both shows get you to that kind of carbon footprint and expense aside, you know, I think it's probably safer COVID-wise, car accident-wise, to just be in the house. You know, do what you have to do, go out for a hike. I talked to my friend who's sort of criminal tenant finally moved out. So she's really happy, and she's outside, you know, flexing with her. I don't know who this guy is. Is he her man? You know, I'm trying not to be solicitous of him, but, you know, he seems like a good-looking guy, and it's nice to kind of know people in the area and chit-chat with them. Just because, you know, it's a struggle in Hollywood to find normal people to associate with who aren't, I hate to say it, who aren't being, you know, kind of fake or manipulative or trying to size you up to see if they can social climb through you or social climb over you. You know, I think that's part of what the dynamic has turned into with people at work. Like, they really, you know, it's so funny. They forget how aggressive they've behaved toward you in the past, right? That, you know, at one point they may have actually known that they were infected with COVID, you know, trying to get in my face, and, you know, I just run away. Or just, you know, trying to start conflict. Like, you know, if I'm kind of you know, sitting off to the side or conducting some business on my phone, why would you come flop down right next to me? Unless you're either trying to be nosy or, you know, it's not like you're trying to have a friendly conversation. You're being quite provocative. And, you know, the best thing I find to do in these situations is ignore the person and get away from them, you know, because some of these people have the attention span of a fruit fly, right? Once you're out of sight, you're out of mind, and they won't think about you again because they're, you know, doing whatever struggle business they tend to do. But, you know, you can't engage with people who don't have your best interests at heart. They're not trying to be good colleagues. They're not trying to work for the collective endeavor. You know, there's been sneaky efforts to, you know, and they've done it. They've deprived some people of their job through gossip, innuendo, manipulation, and lies. And, you know, you just have to be aware of that fact, not to be freaked out by it or anything like that, but just, you know, we're almost at the finish line. It's actually quite glorious, and it's glorious to have the break from all that. You know, tonight's episode is not going to help them sleep well at night. You know, if they want to, you know, fantasize that they're better at the actual work than me, or, you know, some of the people that, you know, I do this work alongside. But, you know, again, it's like being in school, right? And getting into the next, I guess, level of school. You know, people want to be very concerned about what you did and where you got in and all that. And it's like, really, the time to be concerned about getting in here or there based on your own record and your own performance was before. And it has nothing to do with me and my performance, right? But, you know, people want to slack off, and they want to, you know, go the friend route. But the friend route can only take you so far. I don't know. We're going to see where things are at the end of this week. But, you know, when I get tired and I'm, you know, kind of at work a lot, I'm you know, I was just ready to sleep for a few days and get back into my exercise routine and not, you know, not take all of that negativity personally, because there was an attempt to kind of put me on the defensive to see if I was going to be upset, you know, just by kind of cataloging these, you know, made up bits of information. And, you know, I guess that's what this group of people have done successfully against other people. But I'm not other people, and I'm not naive to what their goals are, I guess I could say. You know, being camera ready is not just about makeup, right? It's about your frame of mind. It's also about your professionalism. It's about your, you know, kind of demeanor and respect, even for yourself and your own work, right? When people try to step to you for, you know, not casual or business reasons, but for nefarious reasons, right? There's no reason to not be aware of that. And there's no reason to, you know, put on blinders like you're not aware of what's going on, right? I've seen other people trust the wrong people, right? This happens all the time. But, you know, as a East Coaster, you know, in California and Los Angeles for business, you know, our perspective is different. Our demeanor toward other people is different. We're a little bit, East Coasters are more straightforward. If I don't like you, I don't like you, and I don't have to like you. I'm not going to sit with you. I'm not going to lie to you. But the energy in California, it's like, I think the saying is, you know, people in California will steal your wallet and help you look for it. It's that kind of like phony, oh my God, oh. Meanwhile, that person is like absolutely out to get you, taking steps to get you, trying to set you up, trying to, you know, eat your lunch out of the refrigerator or whatever. So I think we're in a good place with this mask being peeled off. There's still a little bit in our eyebrows and hair. Maybe this is a good job for our damp beauty blender, right? So we don't have to step away from our live, but just, you know, circulate it around the corners of our face into our brows and, you know, any little tidbits that are still left on our face. But I feel like that was a satisfying mask experience. I feel peeled and refreshed. It looked cool being gold in color. And, you know, we're not looking for perfection, right? We're looking for a Sunday makeup experiment, which is always fun. We have a bit more on our neck. But yeah, are you dealing with any people being dramatic at your job? You know, seeking advantage. You know, even on the set I worked on Saturday, it was very funny because there were some very, you know, much newer to set kind of people around, and they just had such terrible manners, you know, like just can't look you in the eye, can't say hello, you know, and it's like you need to be able to do just that. It's not personal, it's not that serious, but you're in a corporate environment where you need to share information. You need to at least be friendly or mellow, right? Open to receiving information or advice. Oh, we need to check in. Oh, you need to take a COVID test. Oh, this or that or the third. And, you know, some of these people, is the term stuck up? When, you know, I shouldn't even say this as a wig wearer, but the wig cap was showing and, you know, things were not on point for the amount of stuck upness that was on display. So, you know, you want all elements, your appearance and your behavior and your demeanor, to all add up to one of professionalism and whatever emotional state you're trying to convey on camera. You don't want any of your value as a worker to be undercut by, you know, attitude, or if you're insecure or you're concerned that your wig isn't looking right, look in a mirror, ask a friend, ask the hair department. Everyone is there to help you, but you know, some people are so I don't know what the word is. Is it stuck up? Is it, I don't know. It was strange. And I ended up, you know, we have to sit, you know, 2 to a table, theoretically 6 feet apart, but this set had so much casual enforcement that, you know, it wasn't that serious, but, you know, she was very committed to not even looking at me in the eye. It's very strange. But, you know, we weren't playing the same role, so I don't see why she was so. I'm still working with this Kiehl's micro blur skin perfector. It says it's gonna perfect my skin. I did the mask, removed it. Now I'm trying to, it's the endless package. Like I keep trying to use it and use it up, right? Out of respect for the environment, out of respect for the fact that I have it, I'm putting it on. Maybe I'll use my beauty sponge to take it off. Just put it around to blur. It can create texture on the face, but you know, a blurring product, a blurring powder, a blurring serum is a great idea. But, you know, ultimately you have to see how things look. But yeah, we're liberated. We don't have to go to work tomorrow. We do have to take a COVID test. I would like to go get some manure for the garden, but I don't want to, you know, neglect other work. You know, I have a whole to-do list, and this was actually on my to-do list. I'm doing some social media content because I really haven't for several days because I was tired and working and COVID test here and COVID test there and a long line for gas and, you know, everything else. So just using our beauty sponge to rub in the blurring product and, you know, lift any remaining bits of mask. Hopefully trying to get a tender and even application of that blurring product so that it won't mess up our makeup. And you know, I always do when I hike. I was watching some makeup tutorials on TikTok and it was very interesting. It was like 2 layers of full coverage foundation and then contour and highlight over that. Blend the highlight first and then blend the contour into the highlight. So that I think is a very interesting idea. I do want to find a way to try this Fenty Pro Filter foundation. I know that Fenty has released a few different complexion products. I've watched tutorials at one time and another, but I can't remember the order of their release. And I do know that people seem to like one more, more than the other. But let's see what it does for us today. The light is changing behind me. We have our ring light on, which is 10 inches, and we have our mirror light on, and we have a little hair light on just to give us studio-like dimension, right? We want to be in a place where, oh, there is some mask in my eyebrow. We want to be in a place where, you know, our beauty products are tested and true. And when it's time to rock an on-camera look, you know, we have options to do some dynamite looks with, so this is our blurring product. Is it a primer? Micro Blur Skin Perfector. It says it minimizes the appearance of pores while improving skin's quality over time. Not sure about those claims. Here we have Fenty Beauty in the color 240 Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. So let's see if we can get this into our little dish, right? Should we stipple it on or should we use our silicone sponge to get it on? Maybe we'll do our silicone sponge. Okay, we do have that silicone brush from our mask application. Why can't I find my silicone sponge? But yeah, that's what's been going on at work. Oh, here it is. That's where we are with our mango colored t-shirt. You know, when we came back from our COVID test out at a studio in Culver City, we did some thrifting, and this shirt is one of the things we got. We got some other super cute outfits. I really should get back into my Instagramming and show you some of the really, you don't have to spend a lot of money and you don't have to spend Target money even, right? Because Target is not cheap either. Oh. Like, you know, I might buy a t-shirt there on sale, but wow, the prices are kind of bananas. Not a lot of product in here, but this will be enough for us. Wonder if it does any good to kind of swatch test it. Maybe, no, let's use our silicone sponge, right? See what we're working with here, right? If we get it on our face, is that too pale for us? Let's see, right? It's a very heavy swatch. And I have heard some of my favorite beauty YouTubers talking about, that doesn't look bad at all. Talking about 220, 240 being the ballpark of what they like to wear on their face. It definitely is mattifying. It promises to be long wear, and it definitely is pretty. Let's see, other side, right? So going from the face, the color of our face, to adding this product on top of it, I think it looks perfected. I would be curious to know if this is my proper shade or if this is a shade that's too, you know, undertone wise, is too dark, too light, or what. I don't know. There might not be enough of it for us to really get a sense. Does it Work better to turn it upside down. But you know, that's what we do here on House of Tanya. We see what we can get our hands on. We see if we can work with it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I wonder if we can even open it. We can. Look. We certainly can open it. Let's get our sponge in there and really get in the game. Right? We're getting our beak wet. We just want to see. We want to see what Rihanna and all the hype is about, because, you know, we're kind of late to the game, but we're in it all the same, right? We want to see if it's worth, you know, Sephora money. I have a friend at work who's, you know, a model, what do you call it? Music composer. He, you know, had some big hits in the 90s and, you know, has a family down by the beach. And he says he only buys his makeup for camera and auditions at Sephora. And I was like, oh, that's the higher end, you know, makeup place, right? As opposed to Ulta, as opposed to, you know, drugstore or whatever. And he's like, you know, he isn't going to buy like $80 powder or $120 powder, he says to me in public. But you know, if a man is going into Sephora, you know, he's not like a label guy. He's not like extra or crazy. So the way this dries down looks a little uneven and a little aggressive. Maybe this is too pale of a color on us. It definitely seems buildable, but I kind of would like to screen it down. You know, I feel like I miss the original color of my face. And in this sense, a beauty blender would be the right move. It is mattifying, maybe even too much for me. And it's definitely a couple of shades too pale, I believe, right? If you look at my neck color, don't look at my hands because that's from being out in the sun. But I think that we can use our beauty sponge to, you know, look at any places that are uneven and kind of tap it down to a, what do we call it? Human color, right? But, you know, again, having fallen in love with a drugstore product like this, I was curious to see how a high-end product like Fenty would behave, and if I would just be blown away and kind of feel automatically like the pigmentation and everything was just so superior that I should, you know, skip a few meals or something to be able to afford this kind of luxury product, right? Are the luxury products better? Just like luxury clothes or luxury tailoring, you can see whether it's in the actual materials themselves or in the tailoring or the fact that the trousers are lined, you can see the differences, right? I was curious to see if this product would be kind of convincing in that sense, right? And I feel like it's good. The color match wasn't the greatest, and I'm trying to deal with my lighting situation. I did get another ring light that's not 10 inches, it's 12 inches. It's one of those, this ring light, that's my hair light back here, right, is a Dixie and Charlie D'Amelio ring light, right? A lot of these ring lights that you get from Amazon, etc., are all manufactured in the same place, but you know, you don't want to spend a grip of money on a ring light that's like 16 inches. I don't know if I need that. I have one face and I'm shooting on my phone. But, you know, 12 inches, affordable, I can rock with that. I just haven't pulled it out of the box yet. So from here, if this is our foundation place, right? If this is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Long Wear foundation in the shade 240, and that's it bounced down to a reasonable amount, right? Here we have a different shade, which is 120, which is half as light. Let's see if there's any joy in here. Maybe we can use this couple of drops as a kind of highlight, right? and then we would have our contour to do. So if we use the other end of our silicone sponge, and we're very delicate and gentle with it, right? Not on our hand, but just using a very tiny amount under the eye, around the nose, down the center of the nose, right? Getting it into all those highlight places, right? Looking at the finish of that paler color, seeing the mattifying on our, shrink a big forehead, expand a tiny insignificant chin, you know, maybe highlight your cheek contour, you know, and again, maybe this isn't the right shade for me, but we can certainly use it to see, you know, kind of to see what it do, right? Center of the nose. This is definitely my favorite silicone sponge because it's so soft and not stiff at all. And just, you know, see what we can do to paint ourselves, to get that slender nose highlight, to brighten up the corners of the nose, and see if this product is, you know, gonna keep us up at night until we buy it in the proper shade for us or not, right? If this is the highlight color and it's just, you know, it's just enough to see what it's doing, maybe get it onto the lids. It does give us a proper highlight on that other shade. Look at our neck. But texture wise, I feel like I want to bounce it down into a less powdery looking matte shade. And I'm not a big beauty blender person, right? I'm not a beauty blender, beauty sponge person to this extent, but I do want, you know, I heard someone talk about what the beauty sponge does. It's not, oh, I just want to like basically absorb product or bounce off product. You do, but what you want is to be able to apply it to your face and get it to the point where it looks like a thin application, flattering, thin enough to be flattering and look natural. Now again, these aren't the ideal colors, but you know, see if we can use different things to kind of get it to a place of looking more reasonable. And if we're good, we're gonna go to the gym. You know, we're gonna get back into our workout program. I mean, you know, overall, I can't tell you how intense and rewarding it has been to work this consistently on camera, you know, and kind of learn more and listen more and know more about, you know, the craft and the directing and all that stuff, right? It's just been so great. But, you know, it is hard to stomach the idea that as great as it is, some people don't want it to be that great for you. If they can drive you out of it or drive you away or have only their friends work there, then that's what they want to do. And they're going to actively pursue that and try to terrorize you or whatever. It's like you're going to have to come a lot harder than that. And if you come harder and more aggressive, you're going to get caught. So, you know, all this gossip and innuendo and nonsense is supposed to keep me up at night and make me, you know, I'm not in the business of folding just because, you know, someone else has a hard time stomaching my success. Anyway, chocolate dipped. I think this is the darkest of these black radiants, right? Stick foundations, right? The little logo, black radiance, as a contour shade. We've kept the little label on there because the name of the shade does not appear anywhere else. This is quite dark. Brush. This is a brush, a random origin. Let's try to get on some contour. It's a pretty shade. It looks like dark chocolate from Whole Foods, right? I've heard people talk about the architecture of this cheek, right? an angled line. Not too low, not a triangle. An angled line. Maybe give it some thickness. Angled line. And on top of that, you're going to build some bronzer and some, right, looking in your mirror for symmetry, and blush, right? Not too far in. You want it significant, not too low, right? People had talked about, oh, like it's the shadow on your face. You don't want it that low. That's going to drag your face down. And as we experiment, going from the bottom of the ear, drawing on that perfected jaw shape. And it's so silly, I know, right? You're like, oh, it's just going to look like makeup on my face. No. When you get away with wearing it on camera and no one says you look crazy, right? Where's the proper perfected chin shape, right? By daily experimentation. Now, the drag queens say converging lines on that nose from the brow going in. Not straight up and down, going in. It's an experiment. Am I wrong or am I right? Not too broad of a line, but from the brow going in. Right? And to kind of treat yourself like a professional. And some people say, I'm going to try this, to put lines. One of my friends was telling me, since I've done principal work, I can borrow clothing from designers. And it was just such an overwhelming idea to me. I didn't do it in time for the Oscars or the Oscar parties, just getting whatever remnants into that eyeshadow place. But, you know, I am curious if borrowing, and some of the gowns are more prom than award show, you know, it just depends on your taste. And then for some of the guys this year, some, or even at the, what is it, Met Gala, the outfits have been just straight up wild. I am loving how this mango shirt looks on camera. It's kind of an unexpected find. It is a brand that is sold at one of my favorite stores, Marshall's, right? And you want to use your brush to try to be disciplined and, you know, rub that color in. We already have a highlighting, in this case, matte foundation on, right? We want to leave that center stripe strong, but then allow the optical illusion of these darker stripes on the side to kind of fade into a shape that would suggest a higher nose bridge and a different structure for the nose. I'm not even going to say thinner because, you know, it's a different moment. It's a different moment in Hollywood. It's not like being a person of color or being ethnic is a bad thing. It really isn't. And it's almost like there are moments, and this is great, where having your ethnic nose is better for your employment, right? On a show that has a variety of principals that perhaps are not people of color, they don't need more of that. And that's, you know, it's policy, but it's also not diversity in a bad way, but diversity in a real way, right? Like, how could you portray, you know, Los Angeles and not have Latin people represented, or, you know, any other people of color, Native American or Black or both? It just would seem deceptive. If you don't get it right, it could seem deceptive, right? Just like your contour. If you don't get it right, you don't get it placed right, it could seem deceptive. Now, we're in the danger zone of having put our contour over our foundation, right? It's kind of looking like this. Right? There's always a moment in doing makeup where it's like, ooh, has it gone wrong? Using our same silicone sponge counting on our body heat and the slip of these complexion products to let us massage gently that forehead contour, effectively giving us a smaller forehead with more dimension. Looking at that chin contour for what? Kind of set of hollows. So you can get that jaw contour color into those hollows on the sides of the neck and enhance that structure, right? Now looking at that scary cheek contour, they say drag it up, right? Is that up? I don't think it's up toward the hairline. I think it's back toward the ear, right? Up according to that angle, right? Just to kind of screen it down and make it more diffuse. Other side. Screen it down, make it more diffused, you know, maybe stroking in the same direction. And then looking to the side, right? Looking to how it's marrying into your actual cheekbone and into your hairline, right? Going into that eye socket, right? The whole conceit of our makeup is to stage that eyeshadow. Now, should we have done the eyeshadow before we got excited about the Fenty foundation scraps? We were too excited, right? Our challenge is to look like our face has dimension in a responsible way, right? That our nose has dimension. People, I'm gonna have to get a new phone. It's in process. It's taken days. We're trying to upload all our data to the iCloud. We bit the bullet and bought more storage, which hurts me very much. We were able to do some social media, but you know, maybe not everything. We can't make another YouTube short. Our YouTube is glitching out on us, but I think that we've calmed down this contour. Calmed it down and, you know, maybe did enough to make it not look completely insane. You know, camera ready it's a challenge, right? But it is helpful when you do, you know, show up on a set to at least have some theoretical ideas about what you want to do, what you want to look like, and how much they're going to let you get away with, right? The show I was on Saturday had no limitations about highlight and contour, and I have to tell you, I went to work with just contour and highlighting concealer on, and then I put powder over it and went about my business, and I didn't look terrible. And the other part, which is heartening, right? The other part is that I put a mattifying powder over contour and highlighting concealer. I didn't look crazy, but before again, in the clutch, those products served me. And that's, you know, what your makeup practice and your cleansing practice and your skincare practice should be telling you, whether or not, you know, products are actually going to deliver for you. So if we're contoured and we're highlight with this foundation, if we've used our beauty sponge to kind of screen it down and try to make it look more seamless on top of our mango shirt, is now a moment where we could look at some blush. Should we do a cream blush or a powder blush? Let's rock with some powder blush from our friends at the Creme Shop. Now this palette, the King palette, seems to be more brown blushes, and the Queen palette seems to be more kind of pinky red. So let's mess with some pinky red, I think, right? On top of, we'll use the center shade and put it right on top of that cheek contour. Now we did not put on bronzer. I don't know if we even need to, but using our angled brush, just being very delicate, right? To kind of get that on top of and even mixing into that cheek contour shade high up on the cheek, making sure it's angled, not coming in too far from the side. Now, We're not using the full-on head of that brush. We're just trying to come at it from sideways, a little bit of corner, a little bit of blend, a little dust, a little tap on. Don't disturb what product is underneath, but trying to build that cheek. Look at that cheek architecture. Bring it up near the eye. Maybe lay it a little bit over that contour shade. Look at that. Using the side of that same brush, dance it over the nose, maybe on the chin a bit, maybe on the forehead, kissing that forehead contour as if this is where the sun might kiss the forehead, right? Looking at our skin texture after that mask, after that blurring product, right? Wanting to use the blush to bring light and color back into the face, right? Not too far in, maybe just kissing the apple. But do you see what I'm saying? Like by applying your contour high and leaving that cheek bare and pale, leaving that cheek bare and pale. This contour might be a little bit low. We tried to, lift it up with our beauty sponge, right? We don't want to lift off all the product, right? But we do want to be in a subtler place, right? If we're looking more subtle and pretty, just going, if we put the order back into our put back order from chaos, right? I feel like a lip liner is necessary, right? We have a bunch of eyeliners, and then we have some lip liners. Flesh, that seems a bit pale. Teddy is an eye hole. I feel like I've misplaced my lip liners. Here's eyeliners. Here's a bunch of paintbrushes. Having a little moment here. Medium brown, eye pencil, moonwalk, matte lip liner. Maybe we'll try this, only because we could find it. And then this one is Cold Brew lip liner. Let's maybe work with Cold Brew from NYX, right? Maybe we're working a little bit out of order, but if we get into this secret matte lipstick from Milani over this NYX brown pencil, maybe we'll be in a good place for eyeliner. So looking at our sparkly lips, we got a little bit of foundation on them. Just using our sponge to try to clear that off, giving us a clear canvas. You can definitely see my lips, but as pretty as that cheek is, let's try to not even overline, but line the edge. Just to give strength and dimension to our lips. Some people say to fill them in. I don't know. You are your own artist, right? Makeup allows you to be that. And we're definitely moving out of that place. Draw the little X at the Cupid's bow, a line up the middle, a line a third in, a line a third in, a line a third in, a line a third in. It's a stylized way to build that lip. So if this is where we are with liner, and this is the color that we're working with, Secret from Milani. Looking in our mirror, posing so you can see. Sun is going down, and we're stamping up over the lines that we've drawn. You're such a lady. You know how to put on your makeup, how to marry it into your liner. A dry lip is supposed to be more in fashion for 2022. I know it's so satisfying to put on gloss after, but it's not really considered modern right now. So said my December makeup artist. Right? Liner is on, lip is on, looking pretty and sophisticated. Imagine I had a suit this color. Would your mind be blown? I don't hate this. Ladies and gentlemen, non-binary friends, ooh, using our finger just to blend that edge. Ooh, that liner gave us dimension. It gave us lip contour underneath that shade. That is devastatingly pretty. A little bit left on the finger. Maybe tap that onto the high point of the cheekbone. A little across the nose, right? As if the sun hit you, right? As if the hand of God but it's a cheap palette, it doesn't have a mirror in it, so we're gonna take our little mirror and put it there. If we work with this neutral color right here, get that across the crease, right? We had put a contour shade into our lid earlier. We have some texture on the lid from our blurring product that we might have to get rid of finally because this is not acceptable. But using this kind of taupey color to create a base of a wash of color across the lid, right? And even this on its own, kissing it back toward the lash line is not a bad thing. If we actually make small circles, will it get rid of this texture on our lid? I don't think it will. But if we use the side of the brush, will that do it? Nope. But I do see it clinging there. But, you know, bringing that color all the way over into the nose bridge, right? And kissing it back toward the lid. You know, if you're familiar with the, I guess, the earlier days of Victoria's Secret before all those scandals, you know, I think Charlotte Tilbury was responsible for, I guess, the quite iconic look of the Victoria's Secret Angels, which was a, you know, taupey or brown lid with the shape sort of stretched out toward the end of the brow, right? And giving you some dimension on the corner of the eye, right? But even that, with a contoured nose and a contoured cheek, right? That cheek contour is really doing a lot. And that nose contour, it's a little bit clockable. A little bit more clockable than I would like, but I'm not mad. This brush is nice. Now let's use a slightly smaller one. Has more of a pencil shape, but a little bit of a flare. Well, this is actually a pencil brush. Let's use this one to get a very precise outer V. Should we go bananas and use this fuchsia color? Maybe we should because our shirt is so bright. Okay, so just kissing it into that very deep fuchsia shade, right? And hoping for the best. We close our eye and we just tap that fuchsia along the lower part and along the upper part of that V, right? I think we could be a little more aggressive. Along the lash line and the upper part of the V, trying not to drag too high up onto the lid. There we go. You know, this bright of a color, it's definitely buildable more than pigmented. I feel like the Anastasia palette is more first touch saturated, but you know, maybe it's not a bad thing for a fuchsia to be a little bit more buildable before it goes bananas. You know, I think that it's a pretty wash of color. Let's give it one more stroke. See where we can get with the outer V. Should we go slightly above our natural crease since we are a hooded eye person? Interesting. Other side. Right? Lower lash line. If we look into our eye, when it's open, then we are going to naturally bring it above our crease so that we can see it when our eyes are open, right? Try to make that symmetrical using a tapping motion more than circles, using our pencil brush, hoping it's not falling out all over our pretty mango shirt. That looks so dramatic. Is it dramatic in a good way? Dramatic in a bad way? It's definitely red. And you know, when I started my eyeshadow journey, you know, I'd gone through some periods earlier in life where I wore a lot more of it. I really didn't have this understanding of my eye shape. So from here, we should take, it's almost sticky like a, not like a gel, but it definitely doesn't feel like a powder, and it looks more blue on the skin. Maybe we're being too aggressive with it because I'm feeling it fall out across my nose. But it's pretty, it's almost more like purple. Right, looking down into our mirror and bringing light to the inner third to half of the eye. It's a little crumbly, you know, but if I was going to the club, there'd be no question. There would be payoff, right? And now we can use a blender brush just to marry that blend. I'm never quite sure what shape the blend should have in the end, right? But it's giving us light all across that inner corner. Can you see? Right? All that reflect, all that brightness. And these shadows really do seem quite kind of wet. Not greasy, crumbly as they fall onto my pants, but you know, definitely more color than I had seen in the palette. Definitely more purpley, bluish, silver, you know, a special dress, a, you know, some sort of top that requires boob tape, and then an exciting eyeshadow that's definitely not boring, that will thrill your companion for the evening. You know, that's sort of where we want to be with our eyeshadows so that we can do the basic moves. Sure, eyeshadow, why not? But we do it in a way that causes consternation and excitement. And I think that we've definitely achieved excitement with this look. Right, so if we take one of our other brushes, this was our crease color brush, and you almost can't see the crease color, right? And sort of at the edges, start blending it out, making a gradient effect, not obliterating that clean brow bone, but really just trying to make sure that we have a lifted shape, and then maybe taking that matte shade into that shimmer so that we're kind of screening it down and maybe bringing it across the universe of the temple in a lifted way so that we're not in a harsh line place. And maybe I'll look very particularly at that concept of how do you, so this eye is blended, right? It's blended, it's lifted, gradient shape, blending into that shimmer so that it's not so harsh. Like here, it doesn't look bad, but it just looks more sophisticated blended, right? Using that same brush, thinking about the lifting of the gesture toward the tail end of that brow, right? That it's not a just circle and splash where we laid it down, but we're using that brush to kind of make it more seamless without the harsh edges. We're leaving the harsh edges on the inside of the eye, but kind of making it more of a gradient effect on the outside. And that is very, very dimensional and much more pigmented inner corner color and very light reflecting. It's very satisfying. But now we need to do the last bit and use our favorite brush. And I keep looking at all these different BH Cosmetics sets to see if they contain this very exciting brush, this super sharp. Oh baby, when you use this to make your inner and outer corner liner out of just eyeshadow, it is phenomenal. Now, I've never worn it outside in the heat all day, but let me tell you, when you lay it in this color, get it just on that top edge of that brush, tap it off, right? Look into your mirror, look at your eye open, where that hood ends, stamp that on there. Get it good and stamped, right? You see it right there. Look at it. You could even go over it again. This brown is not the darkest color in the world, but it's definitely there. And then you can take it out, like a super long wing, because why not? Take more of that shadow and stamp it along the lash line. And maybe the point is that this brown is a little bit pale. There is a black in the palette, but it's a shimmer. I don't know if we can make an eyeliner out of a shimmer, right? So we're in that brown liner place. I mean, we could certainly try it. We can stamp it along the lash line, but it almost doesn't have a chance stacked up against that fuchsia and that inner corner shimmer. Let's take a chance and tap into the black. It's a shimmery black, but let's see what it does. Almost nothing. Well, Nicka K, we came, we saw, we tried it. Let's try it again. It almost adds nothing. Well, it adds a little something. I wonder if we had started with the black, would that have given us more color payoff? It's definitely enhancing. Maybe let's run it under the eye a bit, right, into the lower lash line. It's more dramatic, but it's not ideal. Maybe, you know, we'll give Miss Nicka K more of a shot on a different day with a different combo. Like, it's there. You can definitely see it and it's there. I don't hate it, but it's not the color payoff that we've gotten from some other palettes. This feels like a daytime palette for a subtle look, but if you're relying on the dark shadows in this palette to give you a liner effect that is strong and purposeful, there are better palettes for that. You definitely see it on the wing and also on the lower lash line. There's some fallout, but it's not crazy. I do like the color, what do you call it? Duochrome. The duochrome of that inner corner. It's blue, it's purple, it's silver. The blend is nice. It's definitely an evening look, maybe with something black. But this lip is spectacular. Our ability to start building a cheek and building dimension to the face is, this lip is looking extraordinary. Our nose contour is looking strong. I'm not mad. You know, I mean, this isn't a look that I could wear as a law enforcement professional, but it is kind of like an exciting, fun date look, right? And just as I've gone to an Oscar after party, right? Sometimes you're like, with a black dress, with a red dress, with a dress that's that dress, you want to be in a place of knowing what makeup could possibly be the right makeup to complement such a dress, right? You know how like people criticize different stars for maybe doing too much or too little hair or too much hair with that dress and all that. That maybe you know, our experiments and our, you know, just going out for sushi is a great place to start thinking about what is Oscar makeup and what is Oscar hair. Now, what we did not try was our new grease pencil. Our new our new 99-cent grease pencil. And maybe this will be the end of it. Right? We were curious what this white in the waterline would do. And maybe it's going to do nothing. Can you see that? The nothing that it's doing? Maybe let's take a little tissue. Try to give us some new edge for this white pencil. But you know, 99 cents, what you want? One of those people giving me problems at work likes to wear white inner waterline liner to try to look wide-eyed and innocent, and then up close it looks ghastly. I don't know if that does anything for us, but let's see if we can take the black and make a stronger liner than this shadow, which lately we have not been being let down by shadow liner at all. So the black works better at lining. Not the greatest, but definitely better. We're not wearing any mascara or lashes. It's giving us somewhat of a payoff over the, you know, shadow, and especially the sparkly shadow, but it's still, you know, it's not the highest quality product. You know, I'll take a Marc Jacobs liner. It's like a gel liner that then dries down over this any day because it's more precise and it's more, you know, it kind of does what you want a little bit more. But for, you know, $1 on the go, I think the black side works better than the white side. We'll experiment with the white side when we don't have, what do you call it on? Shadow on. But I know that this eyeliner is going to stay on my eyes for 2 days, so I'm glad I don't have to go to work tomorrow. This has definitely been a satisfying exploration of Fenty as well as the dollar store eyeliner. Some of these products might go back outside for other people to enjoy, but you know, in terms of technique, I really do think that the converging lines on the nose does something. I'm not sure if those outer dark lines re-dimensionalize. They might re-dimensionalize my nose, right? The trick is trying to use a highlight cheek to take some of your nostril and make it look like cheek, and then draw a new edge for your nose. And I see at a distance, it kind of does a little bit of fooling the eye. Look how full these lips look. You know, look at that hair light. It's subtle, it's warm. I think I look exciting. But maybe I'll do my hair next time. You know, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy weekend. I'm rested finally. I should go work out, but thank you for joining me for today's makeup experiment. Nicka K is more of a daytime kind of soft makeup look. You know, the color is definitely there. You'll definitely get a good blend. It's got some exciting colors, and we do have another palette from her that's in a green set of colors, so we'll see what that does in terms of pigmentation, color payoff, blendability. And we'll try another experiment with this shade because it has such a nice name, Rose. What is it called? Rose Latte. But you know, fuchsia and purple, it's kind of a lot. It's a heavy look. You know, our crease color kind of got lost on our skin color, especially in the darker lighting. But there may be some looks that are more daytime, more nurse, more lawyer on this end of the palette, and then more kind of rock concert with sparkle in the center on this side. So we aren't giving up hope. It's our first little foray into that palette. But our contour and blush game, and definitely our lip game, is looking very dramatic and on point. You know, practice makes perfect. We want to be, it's almost like reading a book. You want to read your palettes, see what's going on, see what you can do so that you know in your mind where you can go back and do something with it. You know, these Fenty foundations, I don't know if I would reach for these over this 4-in-1 Perfector, because when I go to work and I lay down a Becca inner corner highlight and some, you know, highlight in the highlight places, maybe I even take some time and do some Creme Shop 123 Smile medium palette contour. And when I dot this over with just my fingers and then spray it down with setting spray, drive to work, wait for body heat and, you know, perspiration from being nervous, confronting these, you know, demonic elements at work again. But then I pat over that with a, you know, a NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop powder. It all marries together in the most flattering way. Maybe I even add a e.l.f. putty blush with either finger or silicone sponge. That's a bronzer. Before I powder, and it just is everything that you need it to be, right? Can't do the shadow, can't do more than a brown liner when you're a cop or on a cop show in general, but a putty blush before you do a mattifying powder, spectacular. No one even questions whether you're even wearing makeup. You look perfected, you look enhanced, your jawline is stronger, and you are in a place of beauty, which is where all of us want to be, no matter what we're playing in our lives or on television or in a movie. We just want to have enough knowledge and product under our belt that's going to do us right, that's not going to do us wrong, like that white black grease pencil. We didn't get to try our new Daiso products today, but there's always tomorrow after we get our COVID test. Thank you for joining me. And, you know, it should be a dramatic week. It should be an interesting week. Show number 1 wraps on Wednesday. So it's Tuesday and Wednesday, and hopefully people are calm. You know, I might be getting a lot of important calls and unable to talk to these people this week. But then show number 2 goes on for several more weeks. And, you know, people kind of welcomed me back, and I might get into that. There's certainly other work and projects connected to, you know, MIT and some other, you know, more community development projects that we can work on. But, you know, I am glad to have found a moment as the sun is setting to, you know, kind of meet with you and do a little bit of beauty experimentation here with these very exciting, very expensive, but somewhat okay products. It's not really screaming this is worth that much more money than something like this, which is mattifying. It's whipped wet matte makeup, and the application of it over whatever you put it over is just dynamite. It does what it says, and it says what it does. Light, medium, or medium. It doesn't come in a bunch of shades, but it just makes your contour highlight right. You know, you could add a setting mist, but I think all we're going to do is have a snack and go to the gym, so we're not going to do that. And we'll see how this eyeshadow wears. And this lip color is, you know, it's sophisticated. It has dimension and shape. You know, I feel like this eyeshadow has gone much farther than the lip. So balance is off, right? A paler inner corner would be better. And, you know, the fuchsia kind of diffused a little bit out of control. I would love to get to the point where I'm a person who could do 3 and 4 color in the outer half of the eye. and maybe my application isn't where it should be for that yet. And maybe it's a question of the palette as well. So we're gonna keep developing our on-camera looks and our makeup techniques, and always keep in mind to honor ourselves and honor our heritage and our identity with every choice we make about how we look and what we put into our bodies and how we take care of our bodies and our skin. Our mask experience was positive. This is definitely a positive brush for masking. The peel off was fun. I still have it on my hands and a little in my hair, but it's a-okay. But yeah, tomorrow maybe we'll have time to do another makeup experiment. But this is House of Tanya, just encouraging you to take your look as far as you want it to go. Don't be afraid to experiment, even if things don't go as well as you would want them to. You've learned, and that lets you plan for the next look and keep this lip in mind, and coloration is improving. So I'm not dissatisfied, but I'm encouraging you to go, you know, as far as you want and even farther, just to educate yourself and learn about all the makeup that you can get your hands on, right? Especially for cheap or free. So this is Tanya at House of Tanya signing out. This purple sky is telling me it's time to get in the gym, and I will see you next time. Just make sure you're being the star of your own life, whether you're on a show or in the acting union. Just, do yourself justice with your look, your wardrobe, your hair, your health, and everything. So peace out, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.